Good morning, welcome to Tristar Diggin. I appreciate you joining me today. I've got myself into a job here that's going to require a good bit of manual labor. And I'm not very good at that. Let me take that back. I didn't get myself into it. My cousin Ethan got me into it. And what I'm talking about is a retaining wall project. And you see here behind me, these blocks. I don't know how heavy these things actually are. Ugh. Oh man. Usually the blocks that I use on retaining walls are the big blocks. It takes a bigger excavator to handle those. But anyway, Ethan said he had a project. He said, asked me if I was interested in helping him with it. And I said, sure. So Ethan will be here in a few minutes. He stopped and picked up a dump trailer, picked up 5 ton of 89s, and he'll be here in a few minutes. And we'll get started on this. While I'm waiting on him though, let's look at the project itself, and then I'm gonna get started ripping out some of these cross ties. What the project is, this is an old retaining wall. It's a railroad tie system that's old and rotten and it's just gotta go. We gotta rip all that out, all the way up to the front door, up into there. This is where it ties in the sidewalk. Rip all that out and then come back with these retaining walls. And we're gonna tie it in right here against the house where that garbage can is. Come right around through here, pretty much the same circle pattern or up to here and then straight up through there. All right, and here we go. And what the plan is that I talked to Ethan yesterday was kind of finalizing the plan on doing this. I just asked him, I said, hey, just make sure you got some shovels. I said, because you got a lot of shoveling to do. I'm just basically gonna sit in the excavator and point and shout at him and tell him what he's doing wrong. But anyway, he'll be here in a few minutes, and with that rock, we'll get that dumped in here and we'll get busy on this thing. Okay, Ethan has made it here, and we're going to check out his driving smacking skills. See what he's got. So far, he's doing pretty good. We ordered 5 ton of 89s, and that dump trailer there should be pretty good at handling that. We'll have to pull up, straighten up a bit. No pressure, you're just doing no pressure at all. Just carry on. It's about time you got here.
I know, better late than never.
I guess that ought to be good right there. Let's take a look at what he got us. Oh yeah. And the reason I went with 89s is because this stuff packs pretty well and it's real fine material. And it's able, it's even easy to work too when you can level it. So Ethan said he had this sweetheart deal lined up with this dump trailer here. He'd be here at 9 o'clock this morning. So about 15 till 9, I got a call from Ethan. He said, hey man, I'm gonna be a little bit late. This dump trailer's not showed back up yet. So what time is it now, Ethan?
10:30.
10:30. The guy that had the trailer rented for yesterday didn't bring it back this morning when he was supposed to. So anyway, we had a little bit of a backup, but I think we are ready to get started now. And also, as we get started here, give y'all a little bit of behind the scenes. I'm actually uploading a video that y'all will have already seen by the time you see this one. Uploading a video here while we're getting this job started. Okay, here's the part I was talking about before Ethan got here. Here's the part where I just stand and watch and holler at him, tell him he's doing it wrong. Actually, what we're doing right now we're just kind of mocking this up because this is the first time I've used these small blocks, and I think Ethan as well. What we're doing is just mocking this up to see what kind of turn or radius we can use with the way these blocks are made. And then that gives us an idea where we need to start, which I guess technically we need to start right here at the edge of this wall to get the most turn. Be able to turn it and then go right up the sidewalk there up to the house. So we're gonna set a few blocks out here and see what that looks like. And by the way, I am an expert now because on the way to the job site this morning, I was watching a video on how to do this. So that makes me an expert. And we're gonna dip this out without dumping. I thought about just dipping it instead of doing that. That'll save some rock. We won't have to waste as much. That is the first dip of official work with Mongo attachment tilt bucket. And there we have it. There's the first one, and you can't have the last one till you get the first one done. We're going to work on this here a minute and use the level. And what we do with the level is make sure that this one is good, and it's not. It's got to come up on the bottom side about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Now, if you don't fix that and you don't get this block perfectly level, if you start chasing that 1/8 of an inch, it's going down. Before you know it, when you get down there to that end right there, you're going to be a long way off from level. So you got to start out perfect. Well, you got to start out perfect, and you got to stay perfect with your level. And what we'll do with this longer level is when we get to, if you hold that right there. So we'll get this one level, and as we're going in through there, we'll make sure with this longer level that we're staying true all the way around as we make our curve.
You want me to hold the camera while you set them?
No, Ethan, I'll hold the camera while you set them.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get this one true and make it right, and then we're gonna start carrying some more through here. What I'm doing is just using this mallet to get this thing seated in the ground on that footer where we want it. It's almost perfect. There we go. That first one is set. Got the first course in now. We can actually start setting our second course right here. We're down to where we're going to drop one block in the elevation. And what we're going to do, I hope this makes sense, is that block right there was setting here. So what we're going to do is to get our offset is we're going to dig back down, set that block, and then when we set this one on top of it, it's going to be half over that block there. I don't know if that made sense or not. Did that make sense, Ethan? Ethan says yeah. So this is our first dig with the tilt bucket. And what I'm going to do is just reach in here, and that's got to go down about 3 or 4 inches. I'm going to rake some of that out, and then we'll start setting that other block. But our first rookie mistake is this. Ethan, set that block up there, and we'll show them what happened here. What you got to do is stagger these blocks so your second run has to overlap the two bottoms. And what we didn't think about was we needed some half blocks, because you have to start with a half block, then a full block to be able to get that split right there. Ethan, why didn't you order some blocks? Anyway, we got a solution for that. We're going to keep working like we are. I've got that concrete demo so we'll bring tomorrow. We'll cut one of these blocks, stick it in there. Nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever, except y'all. So we're going to carry on here and see if we can keep this going and keep moving. Let's see if I can make this thing work here. I think I've got the laser set up to measure that. I think that's going to be enough. We only needed about 3 inches. Hopefully I got that grade rod set up. If not, I can get it set up. That's got to go down a couple more inches, don't it?
Yeah, looks like it.
All right. And it's not a big deal if you go a little too deep, because we're putting in a 2-inch footer there. So I mean, all we got to do is just add a little bit more rock if we do get too deep. Too deep is not too bad unless you run out of rock, and then it's too bad. It's after lunch, and Ethan's still on this wooden shovel here. He's still got the shovel going good.
Got splinters all in my hand.
Yeah, splinters from that old rotten shovel. I do want to tell you about a mistake that I made that could have cost us a lot of work and a lot of frustration. And that mistake was that I left a slope programmed into the laser here when we set up. I wasn't paying attention when I turned the on button on that I had that slope programmed into it. Fortunately, it was 0.75% slope, which was less than 1%. Not a big deal, didn't really change anything for us at all. But the reason I say that is because it can cause you a lot of problems. The best thing to do when you finish a job and you've got slope programmed into the laser is just clear it out till it's all zeros, and then you won't run into an issue. Now, if I'd had a 3 or 4% slope programmed into that, and we had made that turn and started up through there, at some point I would have figured it out, because it wouldn't have worked out as far as our level was using. Anyway, getting long-winded, I guess what I'm trying to say is that could have cost us a lot of time and effort, is not checking that. Now then, we've got that first course end to right here. We got this course over here drop down, and what we're going to do is we're going to go one more block lengthwise out here, and then I think we're going to step back up and start our turn going around this tree here. One thing I also want to mention is that we are planning to put a drain tile in here, and what the plan is, I've got a T right here that at the end of that next block, we'll set that T in right here, and then we'll run our pipes in from here, and then the pipe in from around this corner into that, and then we'll have a short stubby piece coming out from the end of this out to here, out to the end of the wall, so water can come out. We're down to the part now where we need to put this drainage pipe in to get this T put in. And what I meant earlier by that was that T will go in that position right there. And that next block is going to set on top of this one. It's going to come across that. What we got to do is get the fabric put in here behind this pipe, set that pipe in, and get this in place, because we're going to backfill across the top of that now and be able to set this next block in. That T set in there, and we got the pipe behind the wall. We got that fabric laid in there, and that's in there real nice all the way to the house, so that'll catch any water, bring it down here to this T. Then what I'm going to do is put this little short piece in this T, maybe just like that, and that's going to be run out. We'll cut that off even with the block. Now then, we can backfill that and put our blocks on over to where that one is there. Okay, we got those second row of blocks in right down through there now, and then you can see under Ethan's leg right there is that pipe coming out for drainage. And then I want to show you how these lock together. This is a really cool system. They've got these plastic pins like this right here, and I'll show you how that works. Pretty cool system. It's got holes in it. It's got holes up here and holes back here, depending on setback, I think is what those are. And then there's holes in this groove right here, one here and one here. So what happens is, I can show you better over here. When you drop this this plastic pin down inside this block, it recesses down below that block and goes into this groove right here, so that anywhere in this groove, this block can scoot backwards or forwards or sideways, because it's locked through that top block and down into that groove. That works pretty good, and we are making some really nice progress. Probably see a little bit better now. And we are down to where we're going to make our turn. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to get that one in one more, and then I'm going to set y'all up on a time lapse, and we're going to time lapse this third row going in right here and getting that knocked out pretty quick. That goes quick once you get your foundation set. What we're doing now is a real important step to tie the two courses together. Is taking the rock that we have and filling the cores up, because when that core gets full, it goes down to that other one and it kind of locks the blocks together. All right, as Ethan's setting that second block on that next row, we are to a point now to where we can bring that all the way over to here. So I'm gonna set you up on time lapse. We're gonna knock this out right quick. We got that next row on there, and that is looking pretty good for a couple of novices. We're beginners, and I'm pretty proud of that. That's looking really good. We've still got to put this block in here in the morning. We got to get that one cut, and then I don't know, that might be the only one we really have to cut, Ethan. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're going to make this turn now, and we're having to really maximize the radius that we can on this right here to get it to come into here and then head right up towards the sidewalk there. We're gonna get this notched in right here, and we'll be back and lay in some more. Time for a little update. We've got all that in now. That's backfilled. Now we're starting up the hill, and that has actually worked out really nicely. That arc worked out perfectly to where we can turn and go right straight up towards the sidewalk, and we've got a string now to where we can make sure that the face of the blocks are straight in line going up through there. We're going to make one more turn with this next block. We'll turn that, and then we'll be able to straighten up going up through there. That's looking pretty good. This is where we're going to stop with this run of blocks. So now then we'll come over to here, and then that's where our next one will start. We'll go about 3 or 4 blocks that way, and then we'll step up again. Okay, it's the end of the day, and we've got a little bit more done here as we're going up towards the sidewalk, but it's kind of late in the day. We're going to get started tomorrow. Hopefully, calling for rain Thursday through, what is today? Wednesday. Calling for rain Thursday through Sunday, so I don't know if we'll be back to work or not. But the next thing you'll see on this video is us continuing our work on that. And not too bad for a couple rookies. No. So, well, it's going pretty good. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll see y'all when we get back. Hey, before we head back down there to finish working on that wall for the second day, I want to take a few minutes here to get this hose reel put on the truck. In a few videos back, I did an unboxing and talked about a product demo that I'm doing with a company called Brearo. I'll put that name on screen, it's Brearo.com. Also, there will be a link in the description for 15% off on these hose reels I'm going to show you here today. They have a full line of hose reels and fuel handling equipment, tanks, pumps, these hose reels, grease reels, oil reels. So if you have any need for those, I'll put that link in the description. But what I'm working on today is the 2 hose reels that they sent me. First one is a 50-foot hose reel with a 1-inch hose. And my plan is for this one is to put it back there where the bulk fuel tank is. There's a 1,000-gallon tank back there. With 50 foot of hose reel, I can drag that thing all through the barn and fill up whatever needs to be done back there in the barn. What I'm really excited about, and what I'm really anxious to get in service, and have been since I got this thing, is this is a 33-foot reel with a 1-inch hose. And my plan is for that is to put this over here where I have been dealing with this old frustrating 6-foot hose right here that's really a pain. What I'm going to do is take this hose reel there, and I'm actually going to set it down in this area. I did some measurements a little while ago to make sure it's going to fit nicely in there. I did think about some other plans, like building the shelf out through here and an L-shaped shelf, putting it up on there so I could still get tools and stuff slid up in behind here. I don't think that's necessary. I'm still going to have a little bit of room to put some handles up behind the reel. And it's just going to be really convenient down here in the kind of snugged in here and out of the way. Let's get that hose reel set in here and get the holes marked, and we'll drill some holes, get that thing placed. and then we'll basically what I'm going to do is I bought a nipple for this. I'm going to cut this hose and put that 3/4 inch hose right on the end. Let me just show you where that's going to go actually, and what I'm talking about. This is where the fuel goes into the reel right here, and I've got a coupler that will go right on there, and then this nipple goes right into there. I actually wanted a 90 come out here and turned up, but I couldn't find a 90 that was 1 inch on this side and 3/4 on this side turned up. I could have done it with a coupler, put another coupler in, but that's just one more thing that can leak. I think this will work fine. Put that on there, put the nipple on there, and then that hose will slide right on. Let me get this put on. I get this taped up, put some thread sealant on that, get this tightened down, and then we'll set this reel over there in place and get it snugged in. Now then, that should have that snugged on there both good and tight and sealed up. Hopefully it's sealed up real nicely. Let's get it set up here in place, get some holes drilled on it. Oh, of course it got hung on my arm there. Get it marked in, set in place here where I had those marks set. And that's pretty good right there. Okay, well I just realized I didn't have the camera on. So where we are now is I have the holes drilled for each one of these. I'll get these bolts put in there. And then I've got that set in place where I want it. This nipple will be hanging out right here where it is. And then I'll take this hose, and this hose I'll cut it and slide it over the end right there. And that'll work really good. And then my plan is for this nozzle, it'll be pulled out, and I'm gonna create a hanger or a bracket right in here so I can just pull it around, set it right in there. Everything will be out of the way as far as the truck goes, so nothing's gonna really catch on this, nothing should, and that's gonna be out of the way real good. Get these bolts put on, get that hose cut, and we'll be ready to try this thing out. Now that I got that reel fastened down where it needs to be, I'll cut this hose. Oh, there's gonna be fuel going everywhere. That's just great. Come on, cut. All right, now let's get this put on there. I didn't have a hose clamp ready to put on that. Fuel was going everywhere. I'll just have to take that hose clamp apart and put it on there and put that back together. That hose is on there now. Now they need to take just a minute here and get this. One thing pretty cool about this also comes with this auto shut off handle. What I had before was just you had to stand there and hold it because it wouldn't shut off by itself. Now this is like a gas station. You put that in there like that. When it gets full, it clicks loose. You don't have to stand there with it while it's fueling up. Let's get this put on here. And then I think we'll be ready to test it out. I am curious, and maybe somebody can let me know in the comments. Like I said, this is a 33-foot long hose, 1 inch in diameter. I am curious how much fuel that reel is actually going to be holding. What's the capacity? I don't know if it's gallons or maybe it's a gallon or 2 gallons. I don't know. I am curious about that. Maybe somebody will know. And that 50-foot hose reel that I mentioned there just a minute ago, I'm gonna put, like I said, I'll put that on that bulk tank back there. But like I said, it's running out of daylight today, and we'll get that put on there in another video. But I really want to get this tank tried out tonight because I need to use it tomorrow. All right, let me get a wrench, get that tightened up. There we go. A little bit more. Right there, that ought to be tight enough. All right, I need to get that hose clamp on there and find something to put some fuel in. And then I'll drag it over, I'll put it in that lawnmower. It's a diesel lawnmower, we'll put it in that. Get that snugged on there just a little bit more. Oh, come on, get on there. A little more. There we go. Now then we'll get this hose clamp on there. We'll be good to go. All right, that's not working. That one's stripped or something. All right, well, testing purposes, I don't know how smart it is going to be to try that without a hose clamp on it. but I'm running out of time. I worked on it a little bit more and got it started, so we're gonna be good. Get this tightened down here. That's not exactly the right size hose clamp. I need to get a different one, but that'll work for a test right there. We are ready to try this thing out. I've got all that tightened up. Of course, I haven't touched anything up there. That's fine. Hopefully that hose clamp won't blow off. Fuel going everywhere. Got the auto shut-off handle figured out. Let's turn the pump on here and see what happens. All right, looks like that's going to hold there. That's not trying to slip off. Let's drag this hose over there and fill this lawnmower up with fuel and see how it works. That is nice to be able to drag that hose that far. A little bit more to get the latch right there. No, it didn't latch. There it did. All right, let's try this out. There it comes. There you go, we got fuel. That tank's almost full. I'm gonna switch over to the other side. Let's see how this other side looks. If we can put any fuel in it. I wanted to kind of pull it full blast. I'll be that's full of fuel too. I guess I filled it up before I quit last year. Well, anyway, it's working, and what I'm going to love about this now, then you can see. Let me get this back in there, and you can see how far away I am from the truck now with all that hose stretched out. I've got a lot of room now where I can fill up machines all the way over there. And what makes it sweet is this is a retractable hose. Obviously it is. So you just get that to trip, and now then this hose rolls itself up. This is going to save me a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of frustration. Well, there you go. There's the Brearo hose reel. Like I said, we'll get that other one installed. I am tickled to death now to have this on the truck, and excited to be able to use it, because before, like I said, that little short hose, dragging that around trying to fill up machines, you have to get the truck anyway. That was a pain. This is a blessing. So check them out, Brearo.com, and I also, like I said, 15% discount. Check that out in the description of the video. And I appreciate you watching. Let's get back down to the retaining wall now. Get day 2 started, get this thing finished up. Well, good morning. We have made it back out here. The rain has held off. We got just a little bit of a shower, I think, on different spots as us come through here, but the bulk of the rain's coming later today or this evening. If Ethan will work hard enough and fast enough, we might get this done before then. So we'll go. I woke up real sore this morning, so I'm going to sit in the machine more today and point and holler more.
Get the shovels warmed up.
He's warming up the shovels. That's good. All right, we're going to continue on with this wall, same place we was when we left off last night. We're going to head right on up through. Let me explain a little bit about what this tilt bucket's able to do for me. So before, when I do a job like this, all I can do is the bucket was at an angle, severe angle like that, and there's nothing I could do to straighten the bucket, easy for you to say, the bucket up itself. What I would have to do is jack the machine up with the blade, and then that would level out my blade. Well, now then, with this Mongo tilt bucket, all I do is just secure myself with the blade, and then I tilt the bucket level, and then off I go. I know, y'all been saying it for years, I need to get a tilt bucket. Well, I've got one now. And Mongo is the way to go. I love this thing. Just like that, we got another bucket full of rock to put in there. Since we don't have the laser set up and to be able to check grade on that, because it would be a pain as we're going up through here just to constantly reset grade because we're stepping up so quick. We put 2 or 3 blocks in and we'll step up. What you can do is the way I've got that dug out, is just take a 4-foot level like this, put it down at the base of your other one, and then you get that bubble in the middle, and then you can see that we've got plenty of room underneath that level to put rock in there and level it up. So that's that'll work pretty good. And I'm gonna hold the camera and film while Ethan's throwing a rock in there. You're doing a good job, Ethan. That's a good job. A little more right over here, and then a little more right in there. It'll be good. We're gonna work on this, get this leveled in here, and set some blocks, and we'll be back in just a minute. What'd you say about that block?
I said they're heavier today.
Why are they heavier today, Ethan?
I guess I'm sore too.
All right, we set that one in there, and we did the same thing with the level. After we put the rock in there, we used the level, just put it out there and got it roughed in, and now then we set that block in. What we look for when we first set in here, we want this block to be just a little bit higher, because that allows us to take that mallet and beat that thing down so that it's level, and then also that it's level with this other one here. We'll get that one set in place and we'll be ready for another one. Now then, what we want to do here is get this string back in place. I know this one right here is straight on the line, so what I'll do is just pull from that pin up there and set it right here, and you can see right down the string line, that's El Perfecto. So we're good to go. Nathan will get that one set in place.
Ethan
and
too.
Nathan, where did Nathan come from? Ethan. All right, Ethan will get that tamped down into place and where it needs to go. All right, Ethan. All right, old Nathan here. That's your name for the rest of the day, by the way.
Yeah. As long as you don't call me late for dinner.
All right, now then we'll get that knocked down in place. Oh, that's good. Look at that. Look at that perfect bubble. Well, that's the plan. We're gonna work on a few. We'll probably get at least 2 more in there, and then we'll step up and go on up through there. Back for an update, and we are moving right along. I think we were probably right in here where we started this morning. I think somewhere here. Now then, we're all the way up to here. We've got basically 2 more tiers. We've got to come up 1 more block and then 1 more block, and then we'll be up here to our sidewalk. Something interesting that we was looking at just a little while ago is that we have a fixed point right there at the edge of that concrete. And what I mean by fixed point is that we can't move that. So our wall has to tie into that. So I got to thinking about, as we stack our blocks up through there, or if we're gonna be too high or too low from that fixed point. Let me just go up here and walk up there and show you that, what actually makes more sense. So what I mentioned is this is our fixed point, and we're working our way in the wall up through here. So what I was concerned about is if we were going to be, when we met this corner, if we were going to be too tall or we're going to be too low, and then try to figure out how that transition would work. And actually what we did was, Ethan, what are you doing down there? He's down there. Hey, I'll just keep on working, you just keep on eating.
That sounds good.
But so what we did was, somewhere down there about that, not far from where he's at, we shot grade there, and we shot grade right here. And then we did some calculations, and basically we had a 40-inch height to get to that corner, and these blocks are 8 inches tall. It worked out perfect. So what we're thinking, from that we had to come up five levels, and we should meet that corner pretty much dead on. While Ethan's down here eating, I guess I just got to keep on working. He didn't even offer me none of his sandwich. He could have gave me half of it or something. You got a slobber on it now. All right, that's what we are. We did get just a tad bit of rain, or as Ethan would say, a fuzz bit of rain. But anyway, we got measurements that are pretty precise. We've got tads and we got fuzzes. So that's pretty good. And I think I figured out why I called Ethan Nathan a while ago. And that's because we have another cousin named Ethan. No, another cousin named Nathan. So,
I'm Nathan.
And so now then, Ethan today is Nathan, or something like that. I guess since Ethan ain't here, I'm gonna have to get this block myself. Oh, that thing's heavy. That's way too high in that back corner. Anyway, I'll get this one set and then we'll be ready to jump up another course and come on through here with another one.
Are you done yet?
I'm not done yet. I'm waiting on you. Is that far enough back?
Yeah, so.
Get the pipe in.
Yeah.
Let's see, we're going 45 from the center of that, so that should be about right there. Trying real hard not to hit that block. I can say one thing about this job.
What's that?
It's not like it was working at your mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
Golly bum. I was doing some jobs down at his mom and dad's place and wow, I had problem after problem after problem at that place. I think it's a it's a haunted place or something. Now we're just talking about the troubles I had at his mom and dad's house. I had an air conditioner hose blow out on the skid steer, alternator go out on the skid steer. I had a dump truck wheel seal go out. I hit the septic system while I was there. I got down there with the dozer on the trailer and realized I didn't have a key for the dozer. Is that all? I mean, that's...
Well, that's a start at least.
Golly. I mean, that place is just one thing after another.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of hand digging here to start this next course. And actually, I think this is our last course, or we got one? We got 2 more courses.
I think so, yeah.
Got this brought all the way up to here, and this is our last 2 blocks that's going to go in. Be one block set halfway on this one, and that next block will set against the concrete. So what we're shooting for is the that block, when we set it in right there, to be at the corner of this concrete sidewalk. And then we may have to fudge distance a little way, either this way or this way, a little bit left or right of center, just to get that to work out right. And then as we go down through there, it'll play itself out. So let's put this in there and see if we got that right.
Fingers crossed.
Look at that.
Wow.
That is absolutely perfect. Ethan, Nathan, did you plan that?
Well, I'd like to take credit for it, but...
Oh, wow, that is pretty cool. We've been talking about this for a few minutes, and we would like to take credit for that worked out that way, but no, there's no credit due there. That's just the way it worked out. That's what you call a blessing. So that worked out good, and then what we'll do is set that next one in. Ethan, if you want to set that one in, we'll see how far that we need to cheat it. Actually, I don't think we're going to have to go much either way, really. That's perfect. Yep, that worked out good. So that one's right in the middle of that. That worked out great too. We're going to get these lined up, get a little bit of a curve put in these. So it'll have a touch of curve as it goes into that sidewalk. And then we'll get these back filled with rock. And then I'll tell you right now, folks, it's going to fly from here because the first foundation or the bottom foundation is in and it's in good shape. Now then, all we got to do is go back in here and set the rest of the blocks and set them in place and backfill, and this job will be done other than cleanup. So we'll be back in a little bit when we get ready to start putting these blocks in. Now we're down to this part where I need to cut a block for this right here, so I'll measure that. And I got the face turned up because I want that face to be exactly straight, because that face, that side of it's going to touch against the brick wall right here. And then the finished face that's will be on the left side will touch against that. It'll look good and look uniform right there. And then once we get that set, we can start with our third course going around this radius right here. see if my cut is gonna work. If it don't work, you're probably not gonna see it. No, you would. You'll see it. Yep, that's gonna work. I need that mallet right in there. Actually, I'd like for that.
You want to play some? I'll bring them to you.
What you just watched there was a time lapse of setting that course of rock up there, but that was all in vain. The reason it was in vain is because we got over here to where we met with the existing wall and bringing it to it. And in proper planning, we should have started here and worked our way over to the wall, and then when we got to the wall, we could have made just a real small cut against the wall, and it would look just like that cut block put in there. But if we put a cut block in here, it's going to be a noticeable difference in those two blocks. So what we're doing now is we're taking all these blocks back up, scooting them over a little bit, repinning them, and then when we get over here to the wall, we'll take, it doesn't take much, it's just got to have about 3 inches out of that block, so make a quick cut, and we'll put that one back in there. That's oversight on our part, but maybe that'll help somebody else putting this wall together, that your cut could be better made going against the wall.
You're doing good.
How'd you like that?
Oh,
There
yeah.
we go. Now then, we've got that one in there. Got a good tight fit against the wall here and a good tight fit right there. Ethan, I generally like to do things two or three times myself. I don't know about you, but
You're doing good.
we got plenty of practice on that top row right there. All right, we've got that last course put down here, and Ethan has the very last block fixing to put it.
Looking for.
That's the one we're looking for. Put it up here on top on that row right there. Done. That one's in. Now then, let's back up here and take a look at it. We've still got to get that last block on each row in place, put pins in it. But that's the look of the wall, the height of it as we walk around. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and backfill all those cores, those holes with rock, and get all that squared away, and then we'll get everything dressed up looking nice. I'll come back and we'll get this all tidied up and give you a final look and see what it turned out to be. Okay, we have come down to the final stages. Nathan, that's his name on now, Nathan. He's picking up the final little scraps there to pick up, but this is the wall and a finished product there. We had originally decided just to do 3 courses from here up, but we had the blocks to make this a 4-course wall, and it turned out really nice. It looks a lot better adding that course to it there. And we'll walk up through the yard and look how that turned out as well. We was able to have enough blocks where we could do an equal transition steps all the way up through there, and that turned out really nice. And then of course we saw earlier how we was able to tie in perfectly to that edge of that concrete wall. That worked out well also, and we did a little bit of dress up work here, cleaning up, spreading the topsoil back out, and it has turned out pretty good. We've got a few more pallets to pick up, put in the trailer, and then we'll be about done. All right, and there you have it. Nathan, what do you think about the job?
I like it.
when we first started this job, I think we was working 3 or 4 hours, I think, and he said, well, if I come up with some of these other jobs, he said, would you be interested? And at the time I said, no, I don't think I will be. But actually, this is a very satisfying project here. The way that wall turned out was absolutely, looks great for a couple rookies, I would think. But anyway, I appreciate Nathan inviting me along on this job and taking this out. I learned a lot. I know he learned some as well for the next job, or the next ones we go into, we'll have a little bit more knowledge about how to build these small block walls. We enjoyed it. I hope you did too. God bless and appreciate you watching. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video there, Ethan and I building that wall. And as we were building that wall, and even today as I'm thinking about the message for this video, I was reminded of a story back in the Old Testament in the book of Nehemiah, where Nehemiah, it's going to be hard to shorten this down to, to a few minutes. So in the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah was the cupbearer for the king. And some people had come in from Judea and had come back to Nehemiah. Nehemiah asked about the people who had escaped captivity in that day and time, and how they were and how the people were doing. And Nehemiah held a prominent position there. And so he was concerned about the people who were back in Judea and Jerusalem, and the condition of the city and condition of the people. So the people told Nehemiah this. They said that the survivors who are left from captivity in the province are there in great distress and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem is also broken down, and its gates are burned with fire. So these people told Nehemiah that the people were in bad shape, the city was in bad shape, that the walls were broken down and the gates were broken down as well. So Nehemiah, hearing that, it distressed Nehemiah, and he was concerned about the people and about the city, his city of his fathers, as it would say there in the Bible. In verse 4, it's very important. This is very important part of this message. It says, so it was when I heard these words, talking about Nehemiah here, that I sat down and wept and mourned for many days, and I was fasting and praying before God of heaven. So Nehemiah in this passage of scripture is talking about that after he had heard the distress of the city and the walls broken down, he began to pray and fast and seek God's plan and God's purpose for what it was that God had laid on his heart to do. So it is with our own life. And there are times in our life that we don't even recognize our own walls, the walls of our own life, our spiritual life, our physical life, all that we are involved in. We don't realize sometimes that our walls are broken down. It's not until we realize that the brokenness of our life that we're going to need help, and we're going to need help from God. So Nehemiah, seeing this, he sought what it was that God would have him to do to rebuild the city and to give the people some peace and some security in their lives. So the plan was with Nehemiah would go back to, it's a long story in the book of Nehemiah, but I'm going to try to make my best out of it so you'd understand it. Nehemiah got permission from the king. He went back to the city of Jerusalem there, and he surveyed the city. First of all, the first thing he did was went around. He didn't pronounce it. He didn't say why he was there. He just went around and began to look at the city, look at the walls, and see the condition of it. That's the first thing that we've got to do, is we've got to take inventory of our own lives, to see where we are, to see where we stand in relation to God's purpose and God's plan and God's reality for our life. And we don't have to parade that around. We don't have to tell everybody in the world that we're taking spiritual inventory of our life. We do that ourselves before God, and we search out the situation that we are in before God. Now then, Nehemiah doing that, he saw that the walls were torn down. Nehemiah's plan is that he would call upon the people, and the people would rebuild the walls directly in front of their houses, meaning that they would be vested, they would be more interested. I believe this is what it partly means, is that it being in front of their house, they would be more interested, they'd be more vested in desire to rebuild that section of wall, because it was directly affecting them. It was in front of their house. Same way in our own lives. We need to rebuild the walls, rebuild our spiritual life. We need to rebuild our lives that's broken down right in front of us. Sometimes we get so focused on other people's lives being broken or frustrated or in trouble that we neglect the walls, so to say, in this story, in this situation, in our own lives. So it is that God would have us take inventory of our lives, and that we would begin to rebuild the walls in our life, so that then we can be, that we can feel safe and secure, and that we can have assurance in our salvation. We can have assurance in what God's plan and purpose is for our life. And then, as the scripture would say, then begin to go out into the other parts of the city and the other parts of the wall and rebuild those as well. But if our lives are broken, it's hard for us to be a help and a witness to somebody else with the brokenness in our own lives. So that is simply the message. What is the condition of the walls in front of your house? That's the best way I know how to put it. What is the condition of your life? Is your life broken down? Are you frustrated? Do we need to take inventory of our lives? Absolutely we do. Absolutely we need to take inventory of our lives and see where we are in relationship to God and what it is He'd have us to do. So I hope this message has been encouragement to you. I hope this message has caused you to take a pause in your life and just to take that inventory, to see where you are in your spiritual life. Are you right with God? Are you living the life He's calling you to live? Or are you off building somewhere on the other side of the city when you ought to be when you ought to be taking care of the walls right in front of your house? That's what we ought to be focused on, is focused on our relationship with God. And that's the most important thing we can do as a Christian. Now, if you're not a believer, if you're not trusting in Jesus Christ, you've never made that decision, that ought to stop you right in your tracks and realize that we need that. We need the salvation. We need the forgiveness of God through His Son, Jesus Christ, that died on the cross for our sins. It starts there. If your life is a complete wreck and broken down and you don't know where to start, that's the first place to start. Don't start rebuilding your life until you first make things right with God through Jesus Christ. And then God will begin to rebuild your life and put things back together so that you can be a witness to other people about what God's done in your life. I'm getting a little bit long-winded. I hope this has been encouragement to you, is that we need to, as Nehemiah did, he wept over the city, he prayed over the city, and he fasted over the city. We need to do that for our own lives so that we can then be an effect and a purpose to help somebody else in their life. So God bless you, and I appreciate you watching.